So I think that's a really good point to bring up. You kind of hit on it, but just to be very specific, when you look at any kind of fertilizer packaging, there's always 3 numbers listed. And what she's referring to are those 3 numbers that you'll see on any product that is sold as a fertilizer. And it's nitrogen is the first number.
NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Those are the 3 sort of macronutrients. They're the nutrients that any plant will use in the largest quantities. They are the nutrients that they need most of in order to support healthy growth. And then there are micronutrients, and even iron, which is used in a large quantity, it's not considered a macronutrient. It's still one of the micros. But
so you could have a fertilizer blend that will have those 3 numbers in a certain ratio and other things.
Yes.
They just won't be listed in those 3 numbers.
Exactly. And you can have fertilizers that are just one of those 3 numbers, and maybe the other 2 numbers will say 0. So understanding what those numbers are can help you make the right selection for the fertilizers at the different times of year.
So you were saying nitrogen is used for kind of pushing leaf growth and...
Nitrogen is mostly for vegetative growth, so it pushes above ground. You get the elongation of stems, you get the growth of the surface area on the leaves, etc. But it doesn't really affect blooming or rooting or anything like that. It's more vegetative growth. And then the phosphorus is the second most important, and it is primarily responsible for rooting and any type of reproductive growth, like flowers or fruit. We'll say fruit, but like seed production and things like that. So phosphorus is blooming and rooting, and then potassium is used actually for quite a few different processes inside the plants. So it's kind of like it does a little bit of everything.
It's the same as the potassium in our bodies, where it just kind of helps everything work better.
Right. It's a little bit of everything.
Cool.
So,
and then I wanted to share one of the things that we did a Facebook Live. Gosh, I think it might have been earlier this year or last year. I don't remember. Specifically about iron chelate. And one of the analogies that you use that I thought was such a brilliant way of thinking about it is like putting iron, because our soil has no iron, so it's like putting money in a bank. Like it's going to be not a return on investment, but like just putting it in a checking account. It's like there's a certain number of iron particles there that as the tree uses them, you have to replenish them, or the account balance will be 0, and then your tree starts to suffer. And then you'll see the chelation on, what's it called? Like the leaves will start showing the veins. What's that? Is that called chelation? Or
it's chlorosis.
Chlorosis. Thank you. Sorry, I knew I was getting the word wrong.
Yeah.
Which also is a discoloring of the leaves. So this time of year, when you're thinking, does my plant need iron versus is it just going like as this normal fall color? How would you guide people to look for that?
Chlorosis is most easily identified by dark green or darker green veins in a leaf tissue and yellowing of the tissue between the veins. So I don't know if Regan wants me to stand up and grab a leaf off this tree that's right behind us. But this tree is chlorotic and it needs some iron. But
it does.
So chlorosis.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody can see that from there, but the veins on this leaf are darker green than the tissue between. So that's a really good indication that this tree is deficient in iron. But even other parts of this same tree are already turning red in the fall. And those are a normal color change, but this is not. So as Regan was saying, iron gets used in the production of chlorophyll. It disappears, it gets used, and so you are depleting this bank account by having photosynthesis happen, it just depletes the account. And so by applying iron, you're making these deposits and bringing the tree back to where it should be in terms of availability of iron. Not all irons are created equal. They come in different formulations, and the formulations make a very big difference on whether or not they're effective in our soils, and whether or not it's chelated can make a huge difference. And so if you want to refer back to that other video, or if you want to come in and talk to me and learn more about iron, I can make the right recommendations. But basically, you want something that's chelated, and you want something that has 5 letters on it, EDDHA. I'll let Regan put that in somewhere, but EDA or EDDHA iron is pretty much the only iron that's going to be effective on trees and shrubs around here.
So thank you. I appreciate you fleshing that out a little bit more. So I have created, I'll post them in the group as the classes are going through. And, you know, one of the things we're going to do is every week post something and share something that's related to this long video, informative and awesome video, but so that you can have some points of reference. So one of the things I'll be putting together is a list of all the chemicals and fertilizers that we've talked about, so you can see the different things that we've shared that are helpful this time of year, this month specifically, because we're focusing on October. So those will be in the upcoming weeks posted and shared, but you're welcome to ask us anytime if you have other questions in the interim. I feel like we've covered October very well. Like a little more than October, but like for October, I feel like all the buttons have been pressed and all the ticks have been ticked. What do you think?
I agree. It is a slower time of year, which gets into that planning and preventive and supplying sort of mindset. There is some work to be done in the yard, but it's mostly just preparing and knowing what's coming.
Enjoying. One of my favorite things is you've done all the work, enjoy the benefits. Pick your apples, make fall bouquets, sit and enjoy the cool weather with a warm, hot cider if you are so inclined.
And just another plug I want to make. If you do a bit of your planting now, just think of it as saving yourself some of the planting to do in the spring. You're dividing up the amount of work that you need to do, and it's less in each chunk of planting. If you do some of it now, you don't have as large of a chunk come spring. So it is something to consider. It also can be expensive to plant in a yard, and so this is a good time of year to come and make certain decisions on whether you want to plant this time of year and that at that time of year. We can kind of help you weigh the pros and cons of doing those things.
Yeah, we are here to help. That's why we're doing this. So take advantage. Let us know if you have questions, comments, ideas of things you'd specifically like to know more about. This was a very general yet specific overview. General with a lot of information specific to October and the rest of the year, depending. I mean, but as I said at the beginning, we're experimenting. So I think
it's our first attempt at this. So be patient with us.
If I watch the recording later and decide that we're going to start over, I think I'll owe Erica a couple extra treats, but I don't think we will. This is very helpful, very informative, and we'll bullet point the topics so that you have some points of reference to go back to and make some notes. Share it in the comments. If you're in this class, it's because you want to learn, and everyone else does too. So please interact with each other, because somebody might have noticed something that was said that you didn't, or vice versa, and like you guys can share. One of the things Erica had the brilliant idea for is, like go on a field trip together with your classmates and have conversations about gardens that we recommend the Conservation Garden Park because it's down the road from us. They have beautiful landscapes. They're all focused on drought tolerant landscapes, which is great. Lots of plant material there to look at and kind of start evaluating some of the things. And yeah. Any other thoughts on that?
There are quite a few places around here that the leaves are already starting to change color. I understand that we're recording this in September, and you might
the
not
end of
see,
September, but
well, yeah, but you might not see this for a little while longer, the beginning of October. But get out there and look at the leaf color change, because it's amazing.
Yeah, I think one of the things my brother shared, and I'm sure you know this too, but because we've had such intense weather, it tends to create even more vibrant fall colors. So it's going to be quite a show.
And it can change the timing of the fall colors. If we've had these extreme temperature changes or extreme weather events, it can change the timing. So sometimes the color change might come sooner or later than it would in a typical year. Just to keep that in mind, if you're planning to do fall family photos or something, the color change might be something to look up and be aware of.
Yeah, and it's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, when's it gonna change?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Erica, thank you so much for everything you shared, and thank you all for watching. And yeah, we look forward to sharing this tree and shrub journey with you for an entire year.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. See you next month.
Bye.
Bye.